Testing. Great morning, everyone, and finally we are on time. Although I see you, Alex, you did not redirect it to me, my friend. You break my heart. Nah, don't worry. I wasn't even live at that point, but thank you, anyway, everybody that in here. I also said here that if anybody say tariff everywhere, guys, we wake up today with a lot of tariff. Also, markets reacting to these decisions. We'll see how everything goes. Bitcoin dropping back where we were expecting to be dropped. Remember, we charted this possible movement here. And also gold. Is gold the reserve of value? Of course it is, but we'll see how good will it hold. So let me shout out to you guys this and much more on the Piper Academy, on the Retro Piper Academy. By the way, Army Piper, hopefully you're having a great time up in the cruise. We miss you, brother, but let's get it started, man. So let's get started with Bitcoin, guys. I mean, remember that we were talking about Bitcoin yesterday. We were actually charting of what I was thinking it could be happening. Remember, not out of the blue. Still, I need to see a little bit of that maybe dead cat bounce before starting to call that market ends, right? Remember that we already know that Da Vinci called the market, the official bear market started. We are below dynamic reactor. This is the 4-hour time frame. Let's zoom out a little bit in here to have a better perspective of what's going on. Remember that I copied this chart in here from the 2021 cycle. If you don't remember, let's go ahead and take a quick look of it so we do remember what's going on. Basically, there we go. All the way back down here. Remember that we did this kind of like a dead cat bouncing here. We went all the way down back in here, right? And what I'm expecting at this point, it is at least this kind of movement all the way up here. And then when we are at this point, we need to come back into the charts and do another analysis to bring up what's going to happen based on the volume, based on the market cap, but based on the macroeconomy, and then start analyzing for maybe a bounce continuation with a macro movement. By the way, last time on Piper Academy, we took well, not in Piper Academy, it wasn't Chart Prime for Plus members. We had a little fun and we input a couple of setups on, I believe it was on CRUX and also on ChatGPT, and we made it predict what would happen with this cycle. Stay tuned. Tomorrow, I'm gonna bring you and piece it out for you guys. It's very fun. See ChatGPT starting to build up facts right, around a given order. So it actually gives some pretty good numbers, by the way, pretty good numbers, something that I might even say, you know what, you nailed it, but we'll have to see. All right, so at this point, I believe that we are standing right in here and see how we're not having that V-shaped recovery. Instead, we're forming a down range or a descending triangle, right? Usually those descending triangles tend to break to the upside. And then based on how does that break? Well, then we need to look at our oscillator. My favorite oscillator, of course, it is Chart Prime. So shout out to Chart Prime's oscillator. And what happened here is that we're looking for a ribbon either flip at the bottom, all right, and also a confirmation with that ribbon breaking through that zero line. So I took this price action and then I pasted in here. I'm expecting for a possible range at this point. Also, we were talking about the macro trend, right? Remember that the macro trend, it is basically downwards. We have a huge trend line coming up in here. And also we had I mean, look at that candle rejection. Guys, this cannot be good regardless of what you see there. So what's the next mission for Bitcoin? Next mission for Bitcoin is to not lose the 80K or at least the 75K, I would say. Do not lose the 75 for the worst case scenario, and that's because that is our last order block that we have in here. So basically, Bitcoin last stands. All right, before we jump into the news, I want to shout you guys up in here in the chat. Alexander G, the Queen Mod. What's up, Alexander? By the way, we had a chat. We have a chat open. Let me reply to you because it kind of like I got a little messy in my organization on my organization, but we'll see today. Let me get back at you after the show. Roaming Brave, what's up? Good morning, Piper Academy, of course, in the house. We also have Trading Tuition. What is up, my friend? How is it going? Racing Rosen, sorry. Did anybody says Tariff? Yes, I guess everybody say Tariff. Alexander G, JC Gluck, Trade Tuition. We also have who we have? Crypto Boyo. What's up, family? How is it going, brother? Mike Play, welcome, guys, welcome. Quick reminder to click that like button, please. It really helps the channel and also helps us to keep you guys providing you with the news and everything that is happening with the market. All right, let's bring up our support and resistance before we go into the actual news, because we need to have a good perspective of what might be happening throughout this week. All right, so for me, let's stay in the daily for a little while. Let's bring up also our quantum reactor. So if you guys have Chart Prime, you can go into your market oracle plus and then turn on your quantum reactor right down here. This is gonna be giving you a smooth big area of support and resistance, and you'll see that right now, look at that, as soon as we go through it, we reject fast. Remember, this is daily. We still need to see how that plays out, but so far we are right back at support. All right, so quantum reactor looking strong so far. Again, this is not financial advice. I'm not telling you to buy at this point. I'm telling you to wait for confirmation. The next thing that is a little worrying, nonetheless, there is a previous week low. Of course that we have it right there. It's almost within the same range or same area of our quantum reactor. Other than that, all the support resistances, we're starting to see them right at a 71K, right after breaking this other order block that we generated right there a little bit time ago. As you can see, predictive ranges, we have the most important lines, which are the golden lines, right, supporting the price action and candle close. And also look at that, the gray one, very close for that weakening action. So that's what I'm telling you guys, that I believe that we are going to be holding the 75K around that area still. We need to stay vigilant, because if somebody with enough money, because right now we see the volume dropping and dropping hard, enough money might try to generate a snowball effect to trickle down. So as long as we hold, again, the 78, 75K zone, we're still good, and we can still ranging for the breakout of the trend line. And finally, the dead cat bounce, all right, and the off we go to Valhalla. We'll see how that plays out. Again, This is a little bit long. Remember, this is like the weather, right? This is a little bit long just for you guys just to take in my word for the last movement. Remember, we need to analyze as we go low, as we break the trend line, as we create a dead cat bounce, and then that's going to be the most important part right here where we start bouncing back up, if that is the case, if we can make it all the way there. All right, take a look at where we have our big order blocks. By the way, this is like a major configuration that I have on this indicator. If you like it, guys, this is one of my favorite indicators, and it's free volume profile bar magnifier order blocks by Jacob Magaby. I do recommend taking a look at it. Also, liquidations, especially on the 4-hour. We are already taking last liquidations at the bottom. Look at that. I mean, we need to do a far stretch all the way down here to try to get those liquidations. And I believe, I have the feeling that we might hold this area and start bouncing up. Let's just take a quick glance on the 4-hour, because on the 4-hour, if this has not yet updated, and I mean the liquidation, there we go. Yep, we have a big gap right here between this area and this area. So based on the price action, the pump and dump, I believe that because it will take a little bit too much money to trickle down all the way down here, I will think that most likely we're gonna try it, but ultimately bounce up and then back down. Remember, we are on this, what it's going to feel like an infinite range. But remember, DCA is the way. So it's been proven. And by the way, guys, if you like DCA, yesterday we have our DCA setups on the Piper Academy Discord. If you have not been checking them out, you should. It is an amazing strategy. It is just basically clicking buy as you go or sell as it tells you. All right, so now that we have set up or that we know of what we are expecting out of Bitcoin, let's take a look at the macroeconomy and what's happening, right? Let's go into Bitcoin liquidations. Yesterday, we were talking about, what was it, 200 million liquidations? Well, man, last 24 wrecked. Man, this has been a harsh moment, right? Longs 800 million, shorts 175 on the 12-hour, 132 million in 91. So, guys, it's been a show to say the least. So, very exciting movements, pumps and dumps, ups and downs, especially if you're on the 15 minutes, 5 minutes charts. I'm not gonna lie, pretty exciting, but also very, very dangerous. I still believe that we're gonna be having that extended cycle that we talked about on the 500K Bitcoin price for 2025. I predicted, and let's call it like with quotations prediction, because that prediction is just an analysis, all right? Meta-analysis where the result was aiming at 500,000 on Bitcoin. Still don't think that we're gonna get there just on this year, but maybe into an extended cycle with as much market cap if we can hold it in Bitcoin. All right, let's get started with Watch Guru here. I love Watch Guru. It goes kind of like a short, straight to the point, and then we're gonna be evolving on it. All right, so basically 12 hours from yesterday, from today, just in. Look at that, liquidations, 1 billion, 7 million liquidations from the cryptocurrency market in the past 24 hours. That's very big liquidations, right? We already have seen that in the Bitcoin liquidations chart. Just in 10 hours ago, President Trump's 25% tariff on Canada and Mexico. Also, China got some tariff too, along with 20% tariff. Oh, there we go, on China officially taking effect. So let's not forget, or let's remember that Donald Trump announced those tariffs, especially for Canada and Mexico, right before he took presidency or took office. All right, what he was asking, it was more secure borders, stop let's not call it in here. I'm not sure how that's gonna play out, but you know what's gonna be stopping there to cross over the border, and also immigration control. So in response, both governments from the north and south of the states, well, did take actions. And in our case, we sent, I believe, 10,000 soldiers to the to the border, to our northern border, to the southern border in the States. So that took a tariff kind of like on pause, if that might be. But Donald Trump doubled down with tariff and then applied them. So they went officially in. I mean, guys, you know, Donald Trump is a businessman. He also have said himself, and this is not me bringing it, saying it, but me bringing it up. He said, I am a showman. Right. In fact, when what happened with Zelensky yesterday, man, what a TV show, to say the least. Right. Well, he also mentioned this is going to be a good for TV. Something that we cannot deny for this man, it is that he is hard and he's used to get what he wants. So the rest of us, northern border and southern border, we need to also to be tough and be able to make agreements so we all came up on the winning side. By the way, don't get me wrong, I like Donald J. Trump pushing on Mexico's, kind of like a pushing on Mexico's, let's just say, putting that pressure, if that might be saying. Why? I think brings a little bit more of strength of what my presidency should be doing. So in that case, I think I'm okay with it, but we'll have to see because some big impacts could be playing out. We'll see what that means because let's go here now. Let's take a look at this posting here, a little bit up here, which is breaking news. Treasury Securities, Scott Besson says we are set on bringing interest rates down. You know what does that mean, right? What does interest down means? Please let me know on the side chat. I want to read you guys because this could be bullish for the markets, but also might be impacting, well, or could be a reaction of jobs numbers. So yeah, it's just tariff back. I know, but there's a little thing that I want to talk about those tariff because we're going to be breaking it down today. And also I'm going to be telling you what could be the breaking factor. Despite I see it a little bit far away, could be a real scenario where we start all building up a snowball effect. And guys, I don't want to see that, man. I mean, that could be dangerous for all America. Remember, America starts from the very top all the way to the very bottom, especially talking about, economy levels right there. All right. So it could be very, very difficult for all of us. And I think we should get together, of course, with limits, with borders, with rules, but also work together like the Europe. Let's not call it because I also have a reserve right there. Right. Let's move on. Bitcoin breaking. U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott says we just read that. Just in Treasury, Scott says we're sent on bringing interest rates down. Perfect. All right, we already have nailed that up. Something important that I also want to bring up is this one in here. On X marks the spot. Bitcoin for corporations published right now. Just in Gemini co-founder. Remember who's Gemini's co-founder? Also, remember what happened with him on the last cycle, all right? What happened with his industry. So we also, despite he's a very well respected man in the crypto, we also need to acknowledge his failures and take it as it comes, all right? So let's just say that maybe they did not take the best decisions in the bear market or in this last bear market. So we'll reserve that, right? We'll just save that in the back of our heads. Why? Because when we read this, we're trying to abstract the best information for our own finances, all right? Or remember, not financial advice. We're just trying to read the market and start looking where the market are turning. Justin, Gemini co-founder Tyler Winklevoss says Bitcoin is the only digital asset meets the standard for strategy reserve truth. So far, so good, right? An asset needs to be hard money, and we'll talk about that, and proven store of value like gold. Perfect. Yeah, Bitcoin is the only one that fits. We don't know. I mean, this little part, yes, it's a little bit of opium because remember, how many real declare depressions, right? How many real declare I don't know, market teardowns is Bitcoin have gone through, right? I mean, we have been talking about soft landings. We've been talking about not really into, in trouble. We've been talking about, I mean, hard and stricter rules with the rates. But so far, we haven't actually seen that any government has declared a real emergency, right? So technically, Bitcoin is still there holding. Also, remember that Bitcoin so far, it is not being able to be used as a currency, not just yet, and maybe will never be, right? And I wouldn't be against it. Guys, I mean, I'm starting to consider myself turning into being a Bitcoin maxi. Still, I don't think that Bitcoin maxi should be kind of like the way to say. But as you see stuff, like for example, would you like to go and pay with a golden coin or gold coin? Well, I'd rather have it as a store of value, right? And then use whatever is cheaper to represent that value of that gold. By the way, that's why I like and prefer the golden standard or the gold standard. Just saying out there, right? So Bitcoin, it doesn't fit just yet the hard money perspective, neither the proven store of value just yet, but we know it's designed for it. Quick advice here, not advice, but quick reminder. Quick reminder is that Bitcoin is designed to start merging, right, with the real world assets, thus reacting to real world movements. That means if fiat collapse, will also Bitcoin will be collapsing. The important part of Bitcoin, and here's where the tricks comes in, it is that Bitcoin might, and I'm sure of this as an opinion, all right, will get back on its feet faster and stronger than anything else that we might be seeing. Or also comparing it to gold. Why? Remember that gold, whoever controls supply, right, controls the market. If there is demand, of course, right? When we're talking about gold, we know there's certain miners that have big areas to be mined still yet, right? And also we know the actual value of gold. It is based on speculation, market jewelry, right? Other than what it's actually real value for, which is electronics, development, industry, and so on and so forth. So just give it a thought there. Whose best interest would be the actual price of gold just rising and rising and rising when we are seeing struggling markets, right? Yes, speculation of us, but also miners down the road, right, that own the land. So with Bitcoin, we just know that there are miners, right, but they only own what there's there to be mined. It is not that they can control the actual output, because remember, every cycle, the output of Bitcoin gets cut in half, and there's nothing that any miners can do. All right, so that is the difference between gold and Bitcoin, which that is a good point for Bitcoin, by the way, compared to gold. But so far as calling in hard money, I still don't know yet. And I don't even know that I wanted it to be, right? I'd rather have it as a proof of stored value. All right, too much talk. Let's move on into what we got up next. The Kobayashi letter. Nice. I don't know how that pronunciates. A lot had happened last night. Yes, we know. As of 12 a.m. ET Eastern Time, largest U.S. tariffs hike since 1930s when live in China went live. And China has announced 15% retaliatory tariff. This is what tariffs are everywhere, guys. All right, we're going to be seeing a little bit more of that breakdown in here. I'm going to also be explaining what might be happening. Oh, and I also see that my comments are not placed correctly. So let me fix that for you guys. There we go. And I think that will be much better. All right, so we can read you guys there. Bog, what's up, brother? Welcome. Wix Wife, what's up? Welcome. Crypto Pollo, also right there. Username, what's up, brother? BC Port Corp, great to have you here, brother. And I do remember yesterday, BC Port Corp, Bog, and I were having also a little bit of that conversation where we also integrate BCH, Litecoin, mining. By the way, great advice there, Bog, and also what you were talking about, man. That really interests me a lot. I think you are on the hotspot right there. We'll see. All right, so moving to what we are talking about, China has announced a 15% retaliatory tariff. That means that whatever U.S. is applying to China's product, China is applying a 50% on U.S. imports. The S&P 500 and crypto are now extending today losses to a massive 2 trillion. Man, this is big. Here's what you need to know. All right, so basically we're seeing US 30, US 50, US tech. We also have it up here, SPX. We also have the NASDAQ, and also we have the DJI in gold. We're going to be seeing those in a second here. Let's move on into the next one. The US officially placed a blanket 25% tariff on both Canada and Mexico last night. This comes in 1 month after this tariff were delayed on deal with President Trump. China's tariffs have also doubled from 10 to 20 as Trump ramps up pressure in the global trade wars. So, guys, if you don't know, let's also talk about this tomorrow, because if not, this is going to become infinite, and I do want to go over the markets. Take a look at how WW1 and WW2 had to do with commercial wars. That is scary. That's very scary on how that played out. Still, let's hope that our governments know what they're doing, know when to cut that pressure before they before something gives up and breaks. All right, and that's the point that I wanted to get at the beginning. If we just start applying tariffs, there's going to be a point where either you are self-sufficient or you just need to cut down tariff to whatever you're not self-sufficient, because production is not gonna hold. Why? Let me give you an example right here. Right now, if you don't know, I'm getting my panels done. I stacked my roof, my ceiling up with as much panels as I can get and fit to it, right? Also got some batteries and so on and so forth. But talking with the engineer that is behind the construction or an installation of my panels, which is a family of mine, by the way, we're talking about iron, right? Iron and aluminum. So the point is that, all right, where do we start getting the aluminum? Because aluminum start getting to rise as soon as the tariffs are being held in place. Not even when they're played out. Like, for example, last night, we even start seeing that early on as they were announced. The price is rising. What's happening? That right here in Mexico, we just don't have enough last mile production setups or enterprise, right? That can give every Mexican or everybody that is requesting that kind of aluminum, well, it cannot supply here. So what's going to happen? They're not going to be able to supply, and we weren't even there. So what we did, we just bought as much as we could, even extra, and I don't care if there's just laying there. Basically, I just go back and sell it. As long as the whole bar, I just place it in the market and sell it to somebody else that wants to install panels or whatever they want to do, right? So that's exactly what we did. You'll see how even the states cannot meet supply. Well, then you either pay it as a citizen, as we citizens in Mexico, you either pay it the extra fee, which is going to be impacting on your pockets, which at the beginning is not that bad, right? As long as those tariffs are controlled. And why do I say that? Because we know this is certain stratus, right, in society, and this is for every society. But we need to talk about this, right? Despite might not be, I don't know, not everybody wants to see it as appropriate, but we need to acknowledge that there's a certain stratus in society that holds the most payments to the government, right? So basically, who pays taxes the most, and those taxes are being held by the government and then redistributed. That means that whoever is paying the most taxes, which I guarantee is not the higher class, right? Neither the lower class, well then, also they have restricted jobs. That means that they're not going to be earning as much as the inflation goes up unless you are in government and maybe your pension, it is inflationary proof, right? So if you don't have savings that are inflationary proof, guys, what are you waiting for? Look for a strategy that allows you to grow over the inflation rate, all right? Not financial advice, but there's going to be a point until your job cannot make you more money, right? Or then you're not just willing to pay that extra. So you either stop buying it, which could be making a peak downwards or a reverse on the markets, right? And then instead of just consuming what it's inside your country because there's not enough supply for the demand, well then you might have having that both increase of prices, and as the prices increase, also whoever was able to get access to that goods will not longer going to be able to. In the long run, because there is a lot of demand, there's going to be more production, right? So they're going to start growing inside, and eventually it's not that you as a country going to be autosufficient, but you're going to get there to maybe be able to supply to the majority of your demand in-house, right? Which translate to a long run, run, if that makes sense. Why? Because the more industry, localized industry that you create to cover that demand, well then, the more jobs you're going to create. The more jobs you create, you create more access for people that had no jobs before, right, to get some other goods, right? And while they're spent, they circulate that fiat. There's a breaking point. If you over-apply tariff and they over-apply tariff to you, well then, you're charging more for what's coming, which is your maybe necessities, right? So, and then whatever you export, you're not going to be selling it as much as you need to compensate maybe that GDP or I don't know, whatever needs to be compensated in the government, because remember, the government needs to bring up a balance on economy. So that breaking point, it's very delicate, and most likely we're not going to be looking at it until it is breaking. So guys, read a little story, history, sorry. I might bring you some facts tomorrow, but we need to prevent that. But still, at this point, nothing to worry about. Not so far, right? But things might be changing quick. So stay tuned. We'll give you those hints as we see them in the market. Here's what I was basically talking about. At the highest level, this tariff function like a tax, right, on goods coming into US. So basically, simply put, $100 goods coming into the US from Canada and Mexico will cost $125. Guys, remember that here in Mexico, we manufacture cars, right, for the States. Up in Canada, they have uranium, they have natural gas, they have rare earth metals. So those for expansion will be more expensive. The US imported $910 billion from Canada and Mexico in 2023. Many of these goods will cost $25 more to import. So Canada and Mexico, look at that, 2 trillion. Canada, sorry, 4,308, sorry, my bad. In Mexico, 4,808. I got this wrong. I'm so sorry. Let's zoom in because I don't have my glasses in hand. 430 billion, 480 billion, 448 billion for China, and the rest of the world 2 trillion. So just to put this in perspective, this might not be the end of this graph, right? Mexico and Canada are roughly, talking about GDP numbers, we are roughly apporting or giving a 3 to 5% to the GDP, or represents to the GDP of the states, which means you guys can live without Mexico and Canada so far. But what's going to happen if, for example, China start making pressure on other European areas, right? Or remember that also Donald Trump mentioned that he's going to be applying a tariff whoever trades with the opposite side. Let's just call it that way. So if this gets out of control and start impacting right into a little bit farther into the 10% of your GDP, that's going to be a problem. But so far, so good. All right, so let's just keep it up in here. Immediately after the U.S. tariff went live, Canada retaliatory tariff hits. Again, Canada putting another tariff on U.S. goods. Canada has now imposed 25% tariff against 155 billion of U.S. goods, beginning with 30 billion effective immediately. So the remaining 125 billion will be live over the next 21 days. We'll see how this evolves. So far, I think we're good to go. I think that next what we see in this article is a little bit redundant. Talking about the tariff competition, how things might develop, but we already have talked about it. So let's move into, well, we talked also about Gemini. Is Bitcoin proof of or value reserve, or only it's still to be proven? I think it's still to be proven. Let's take a look at what's happening with SPX, because you'll see in the thumbnail that I say that Bitcoin and also indexes are falling, and we can see that daily and for hours. Despite the 5-minute looked like we had a little bit of a retracement to the upside, it is within this candle. Look at that, we're very low on volume and momentum all the way here, and we see money flow just dipping. We were even expecting a breakout retest to this area, but we didn't. We hardly had this breakout retest right down here, not even reacting to this dynamic reactor. Of course we had it, but way low. Breakout, retest, and off we go. How far could we go? Well, then we already have taken this low. We can still make it above ETH today, because this is the 4-hour candle. We can make it maybe above and maybe trickle down a little bit, like downwards here, to take this next low somewhere around 5,700. That will be the next low that I'll be looking for before I call emergency myself, because other than that, we just have a huge gap all the way here. But remember, they're also talking about lowering the cost of asking for money, so that might be impacting the market in a good way. I think they're trying to bring up that balance between macroeconomy and the US localized economy. Indexes, NASDAQ, let's take a look at daily again. Basically the same chart. Guys, the exact same chart. And why is that? Because we know this is a direct reflect of what's happening in the markets. All right, so basically breaking these two trend lines, going through dynamic reactor, we might be having that breakout retest that we had on the rest of the markets, especially talking about SPX. And finally, DJI not looking good again, but we'll see. Again, we're going for the next low. Let's just wait for our indicators to load in here. And also, of course, we're going to be tracing our trend lines. In this case, as you can see, we did have that beautiful bounce before rejecting. But guys, if you were asking what trickling down mean, or what I was expecting, this, but right below dynamic reactor, right? And talking about specifically about SPX, all right? So DJI not looking that good. Maybe we might have a double bottom pattern in here. It's not rare to see that double bottom pattern in here with then a V-shaped recovery. So maybe we see a little bit of a sweep of the lows, maybe inverted head and shoulders, and then a take over the dynamic reactor once again. Let's move into gold, because we've been talking about gold. What is right now the store of value of gold? And we all know right now at this point, because we talked about this, right? Who controls the supply, right? Who's putting in the demand? Guys, this is another breaking point that we need to understand. They're real, and please don't get offended, because sometimes when I talk about this with some of my friends, they say, no, you're wrong because this, and that, all right? Let's understand something. You and I, all right, we are almost insignificant by ourselves, all right? as much gold as you want to buy, you're not going to be able to move that chart. All right, let's be realistic. When do we start talking about the actual volumetric value of retail? When we all get together. When do we get together? When we're very euphoric. When are we euphoric? When we are either going through the worst case scenario or the best case scenario. We're not there yet. We're not there yet, right? And therefore, we're not aiming at the actual value that we can bring into the market, right? Which means that whatever is happening here is susceptible to guess what? To just thinking of what could happen. That is called speculation, all right? So I believe that most of this movement, it is a speculative movement, all right? I'm not saying it's good. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying that I believe that that is based on speculation of retail. We are sort of aiming at the same point as we see tariff being put in place, retaliatory measures being also put in place. History doesn't really repeat itself, but usually rhymes with itself in many of the cases, right? So again, go check out WW1 and WW2 starting factors with economy and follow up point by point. It's going to blow your mind. It's going to be very, very fun. I haven't read out the messages here. Guys, please let me know what assets would you like me to take a look at. Remember to put it a little thumbs up there so I can read it through and I can find it faster if you have any request in there. Let me see if I can read you guys right here. Username, armypiper, those toaster, that's right. Here at Piper Academy, we are safety first in everything we do. Absolutely. Yes, we do. Why? Because, guys, we understand we started exactly the same point where most of everybody started, right? Right, from knowing nothing, right? Only trying to develop our skill sets and also just looking at where we can grab that data. So having a reliable point of view where people already have gone through the same thing that you are experiencing, I think it's very important. And that's exactly what we're trying to bring you guys. Somewhere that understand where you are, regardless of what part of the process you are, right? Somebody that takes also the time to look at the news, understand the factors, has a little bit of experience in the markets, right? And also knows what they're doing, and to collaborate with opinions. Remember, if everybody pointing right, doubt it and point to your left. There is something that that I love about the Piper Academy is, remember that when we get started, we were three of us, TRADEFLY, Piper, and I, right? And our job, it was, and I always tried to take this paper. Why? I don't know, I just liked it. But the point was, when everybody was pointing at the same direction, I tried to point at a different direction. Why? Because it's very easy to get social, I don't remember the term in English, but when you see everybody doing it, you kind of like feel more compelled to do so and feel that's right to do so, all right? So you basically follow the group where maybe the group is being influenced by some fact that might be an unknown fact, right? So remember, always dig deeper. There's always below it. And I think we have got into a great setup here where we start looking at all directions, safety first, and then because we understand that you are not playing with your money. Again, not financial advice, just trying to give you guys as much as alpha as we can. All right, moving on into what we got here. Let's wrap it up with a little bit of a different news. Bybit CEO says more than 200 million of the 1.46 billion stolen from the exchange has become untraceable to mixing services. We'll see how those mixing services played out, man, but we'll see. We'll see. I mean, we can still trace every single individual transaction. So yes, so it becomes not as valuable for them. Well, I just need to say that when I start saying this kind of things, Bybit, nothing against you, but you can do better. You can do better. Nothing is untraceable in the crypto market, right? So just trace those coins, do what you need to do, and guys, they just look at numbers, right? That's why it's important to stick to a trustworthy both wallet and exchange, and always be ready to migrate exchanges if you need to. All right, and that is because you never know, guys. They just, as I tell you, you are numbers for them, and if their numbers they don't match, if you cost them more money, they're gonna let you go. They're gonna let your money go. They're not gonna be fighting for your money, right? So what needs to be happening there? Well, we all collectively need to file up a legal response for them to make them accountable. All right, but beware that I even do remember Mountain Gox. Have you get paid? If you were there, hopefully you have. I don't know. But so far, I don't think things played out as nicely as they intended to, if I can say the least, right? Buck report to the dean's office. What's up, Buck? Man, I'm just kind of like distracted here. Card deed, kindly. What else? What do we have here? AG, Nippy to the moon. Nippy, we'll figure that one out, brother. If you can send me the chart and the link to the chart, I'll open it and we'll take a look at it. I promise. Ethereum, all right. Solana, XRP, and Ethereum. Thank you for that. Let's get started with those. All right. So let's recycle a couple of things in here. Let's get started with, what was it? Solana, XRP, and Ethereum. We talked about Solana yesterday. Not much is going to be changing throughout now. In fact, yeah, as I expected. In fact, we're going to be seeing it matching what's going to be playing out with Bitcoin, all right? We need to be very careful on what we trade. So far, remember, breakout, waiting for your retest on the trend line. What we were waiting for, flip of the ribbon. Do we have flip of the ribbon? Of course, not yet. So did we had entry? Of course not, all right? So just a little bit food for thought in here. Let me just remove everything, or almost everything. I don't want to remove that. Let me just get rid of this. All right, so what happened here? It reacted almost exactly as Bitcoin went to the resistance. Resistance played out, went back to the support. Support did not play it out, and we are back where we started right now. All right, so what are we expecting at this point? We're expecting for maybe trickle down a little bit more, just like happened here, just like it happened here, just like it happened here, where we trickle down just a slightly bit more before a rejection from the bottom. All right, so we could be looking at something like that, and then a rejection to the bottom. This could be a good 5-minute scalp, right? But you need to be very aware of what could be happening here, because guys, this is not the time to trade icons. Remember, we did a ton of icons. Remember, 2 weeks ago, I was bang, giving you entries. We nailed most of them. And now it's time to be taking those profits and allocating them of what I believe, and this is for me, not for you, allocating them of what I believe we could be heading into the dip of Bitcoin. I still don't believe that the bear market is in yet. That's a personal belief based on a lack of confirmation. What could be my confirmation? A traditional dead cat bounce, all right? So at the worst, I'm expecting a bounce to the upside, at least to 100K, 107K, 100 and let's even push it to 120K. We'll see. But other than that, guys, remember, trading altcoins at this point is very, very dangerous. If you still want to trade altcoins, remember to wait for those sweep of the lows, right? Then break back into the range, and then off we go. In fact, let me give you a trick in here, guys. Let's circle this down, and let's circle this down, all right? Let's draw this pattern here. Coming downwards, trickling down, right? A little bit of a fake out, a breakout retest. Off we go, and back to the range. All right, let's see this coming down, right? We have a fake out, then sweep of the lows. We have a fake out or breakout, sweep of the highs, all right? Then coming back to the same level, right? And then reversing. So the opposite way of the peak. So we could even have one last sweep before we start finding that bottom. And you'll see that because so far we are not there yet at the bottom here. We don't see any bullish divergences. We don't see volume rushing up or in, but still, guys, remember, we can still have that movement. So do not trade Solana. But if you want to trade it, let's bring up the support and resistance zones. We are at a support zone. So what we're going to be looking, it is for that further move to a downside. Let's aim for a long position somewhere around here. Let's even add our alert. I'm not going to be trading Solana. All right. I'm going to be going for the low in here, giving myself a little bit of a wiggle room, and then aiming to TP number 1. There we go. Early profits. TP number 2, and then TP number 3. All right. So let's even mark them. TP number 1, TP number 2. Oh, come on. TP number 2, and finally TP number 3. Do I think that we're going to nail this? Nope, I don't. But if you're asking for Solana, here is my analysis for the bullish movement to Solana. If you want to trade a bearish scenario, well, then that's going to be much, much easier because we are bearish in the market, but we need to find this trickle down, coming back up, and then rejection of the zero line. So we are closer right now to a long that we are from a short, all right? The next thing that we could be looking at, it is just falling off the cliff, which is the 135 zone. How would that look like? That would look like a breakout, retest, not breaking through or barely breaking through and then reversing. This is going to be your entry point as we are right here, rejection with this rejection, all right? And then off we go to the next low, which I believe we're going to be trailing along the trend line here, which is going to be somewhere around 110. Let me bring up a couple of other indicators to start nailing this down. There we go, much better, somewhere around 112. Not so far of what I was expecting. Let's see what else. Maybe a little bit higher. Look at that. I'm telling you, we are closer from a long than we are from a short. And why is that? Because we had a big movement to a downside. It is natural and usual to have a bounce up, not a change of trend, just a reaction from the big drop, all right? So moving forward into what we got, XRP, let's go. Nice. Let's take a look at XRP here. XRP, the next worldwide reserve, right? XRP. Of course, it's a joke, guys. All right, let's go. XRP not looking bad, to be honest. Not looking bad, man. Good, great choice. Again, I'm not vouching for this being bullish in the macro, but it seems like, man, this is doing fabulous. You know what? Let me just get rid of everything here. Let's also get in here. Let's add our indicators. Again, remember, if for some reason it's not appearing, just go into settings, change something, change it back, click OK, and that will be it. There we go. We are fighting, guys, on the dynamic reactor. So far, this looks like the next stable coin. By the way, if we go to daily, let's get our feet straight into the ground. All right. First of all, we see that we are in this kind of like range. We have not yet broken that range. We touched the top. Look at that. Boom. Big rejection. Something important is that we are starting to see trying to take that over, right? So as you can see, we have an indecision candle right now, a doji being formed. It's not there yet until we close that candle, all right? Something interesting that I was talking about on, what was it, Solana, I told you, we don't have bullish divergence, we don't have flip of the rebound, we don't have anything of those. And what we have in here, we have bullish divergence, we have reversal, we have peak seeker, we have flip of the rebound, and we are looking for that break through the zero line. Something important is that we are still above dynamic reactor. We have not yet lost dynamic reactor on the daily. And we're still pretty bullish. Remember, this bullishness can change suddenly. Why? If we remember that bullish, the prime score takes into consideration different indicators and adds a value to each indicator. So if we start losing an important indicator value, this can start switching around, going from 8 to 5, 8 to 4 in one with a snap of the fingers. We're meant to wait for that candle closure. If we close in a doji candle, most likely, not for sure, most likely, we're going to be seeing a breakout. So maybe something like this coming back down and then again to the top of the range. I'm not aiming out of the range, especially not in XRP. All right. I'm not underestimating XRP army. Guys, you guys are awesome, like for sure. But also we're fighting against Bitcoin, right? And Bitcoin is static. So we need also to understand that. Something important about this one, it is, again, this candle structure. This is not good, not good, not good. All right. But let's go back into the 4 hour. In the 4 hour, we have a different trend line here, or a little bit of a more recent trend line. It can be a little bit more steep, this trend line here, like that. And let me, so we have a better perspective of it. Let's do it like this. All right, perfect, much better. So we have a little more of a steep trend line here. We have 1, 2, 3 points, and it seems like we are breaking through, retesting for an off we go. Right, so far we have put in, and this is what we have put in, right? We have put in a trend line in here. Let's go for that trend line. This is a 3-point bounce trend line. Again, not a perfect trend line. Why? Because the last two bounces, they're both, this one is not too separated from this other one. But as soon as we're breaking through dynamic reactor and we have that flip of the ribbon, I think that could be called a long position. I'll be looking for that breakout here. Could you enter right now? Of course you can. In fact, that will be almost your cheaper option, but I think I'd rather wait for confirmation in XRP. And that is because, yes, we broke previous highs. This is interesting, but we have not yet confirmed a flip on price action, especially not with this big wick at the top, which is telling me there's more selling pressure. So let me bring up a couple of other tools. High order block, soft order block. Most likely we're going to be seeing that magnetic action. So I'm going to be betting to the upside. I'd rather still wait for that confirmation, but looking like a good entry point could be taken. In fact, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and take the risk. I'm not going to be jumping in right now. I'm going to be trying to take one more time that trend line, or even here, a little bit above that trend line. You know what? I'm going to be placing there my setup entry here. Stop loss at that candle, maybe a little bit below right there, aiming for TP1. Let's go for our TPs. All right, TP1 previous high, TP2 predictive range, TP3 and trailing, and all the way up here to the center of the order block, somewhere around those areas. So we'll see how that plays out. And finally, Ethereum. Perfect. Guys, we're running out of time. Let me know if you want one more to be written. I can get it to you guys. Yeah, well, guys, remember, Erson, I'm not live trading it right now. I'm waiting for those entries, right? Although XRP looks like it could be going up. I don't know. We'll have to ask Alex at Crypto. In fact, if you see Alex at Crypto, ask him for an XRP setup. I think he loved that asset. We'll see. Maybe I believe he's secretly holding like 50% of his wallet on XRP. We'll see. We'll have to wait for him to reveal it. I would like to see more live. That will be cool. All right, absolutely. Let's take a look at the last one, which was, I'm a little lost in here. What was the last one? Ethereum. Yeah, let's go Ethereum. Fuck Ethereum. Sorry, I'm a little sore throat here. ETH. So let's take a look at Ethereum here. Ethereum not looking good. Telling you. I don't know. Ethereum just makes me sick in the stomach so far. We have not yet lost this lows, which is fine. Guys, this is what I believe that could happen with XRP, all right? So we have the breakout, we're going for the retest, and then I know we don't have a little range in here, but then we could be going to visit that one. So remember, we're going to be trying to catch a lower entry with the risk of going low. So a stop loss is the most, and I will be suggesting half of an entry if you want to do so. Remember, this is not financial advice, all right? But that was for XRP. Let's go and finish it up with Ethereum. Again, look at that. For some reason, TradingView doesn't want to load my indicator, so I just go into the settings, changing it back, click OK, and we just give it a second here. And there we go. Perfect. As you can see, we're straight on a downtrend. I mean, nothing to do here. I mean, take it, rejection. Take it, fake out, rejection. Take it, rejection. All rejection, all right? Also, look at what's happening with your prime scoring and consolidation score. Not cool. Let's bring up a couple of my tools to see how far could we go, all right? So far, oh man, I mean, here is the purple line. Let's take a look at some bigger options in here, maybe. Golden, oh, we are possible into a high entry point, high confluence entry point. I'm not going to be risking it at this point. Why? Because I don't have either bullish divergence and I don't have right here a flip of the ribbon just yet. In fact, I could maybe have some sweep of the lows to then start building, generating this trend line, and then doing something like that, all right? This is for the best case scenario, all right? But other than that, we're bearish. We are bearish. I would not be suggesting, neither encouraging you to trade this until we start seeing that breakout retest, or at least I see the asset breaking through the zero line like this. And as you can see, it went steady, right? Instead of falling. Of course, it ended up falling, but I mean, you could have exit at any point right there, all right? I always mention the third one is a charm. First, second, third one. All right, so I think that this could be the last sweep of the lows and then your opportunity. But we'll have to see. So far, I'm not going to be giving an entry here. Neither a possibility. It was still pretty bearish. I mean, we could even catch the bottom here because it's a strong possible entry. But there we go. Oh, we just had it, guys. We just had it. All right, triple divergence. Still don't know. Not confident on that entry. Let's see what else do we have there. Let's take a look at liquidations here. No. They don't need much. They don't need much to take these guys. You see? They don't need much to take these guys. All right. So let's go aim here. Let me see what else do I have there. Yeah, not much, man. So I would be going for maybe stop loss. Where is it? And then TP1, TP2, and then not trailing. Just take your money and go. This would be like a forced entry, guys. We are bearish, and we're looking for long entries. This is not cool. All right, this is not cool. We should be looking for short entries because we're bearish. Something important, and this is part of the reason that I'm giving first the longs rather than the shorts. It is because where would you have longed? Here to catch this bounce, right? Where would you have short? Here to catch this bounce. Once again, where should you have longed? Here to catch this bounce. Where should you be shorting? Here to catch the next leg down. You see the logic here? So because of this drop, we're closer to a possible long than we are from a possible short, if that makes sense. So just giving you guys the heads up in there. But yeah, guys, we are running out of time. In fact, I should be on another class right now. Guys, thank you so much for joining today. Hopefully you have had a great time with me. Guys, join our Discord. And add me right there and let me know what would you like me to talk about tomorrow. I talk about maybe bringing you the ChatGPT's prediction for 2025 March and bull cycle. That is very fun. Or maybe talk about miners with gold to see maybe how much could we be dropping in the worst case scenario when supply gets, or if supply gets cut out, or so on and so forth. Guys, please join the Discord. Let me know. Add me right there at OC Prime and let me know what you like me to talk about. Crypto, AI, things. So see, have a great day. Guys, have a great day. And as always, see you guys tomorrow. Click that like button, please. See ya.
That was awesome, dude!